Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for holding today's important hearing. I'm sure we're all familiar with the alleged facts. Black students at Jena High School were asked to sit under a tree that was understood by everyone, including school administrators, to be for white students only. 3 white students hung nooses from the tree and were ultimately punished with a brief suspension. Fights subsequently occurred between blacks and whites, but only black students have been charged with serious crimes. The facts in these cases will ultimately be determined in court, but many of the allegations have not been credibly contradicted. If they are true, I'd like the Department of Justice to comment on the availability of Sections 1983 and 1985 as possible remedies for the injustices. Unfortunately, whatever the facts of this case may be, we do know that this cycle, the incarceration of African American males, is something that we see over and over again in this country. As unfortunate as the Jena 6 cases may be, this is just an example of the misfortune that African American males are experiencing in the criminal justice system. Marcus Dixon in Georgia, an 18-year-old African American male, had consensual sex with a 15-year-old, was convicted of statutory rape and aggravated child molestation, served 14 months of a 10-year sentence before the Georgia Supreme Court throughout his conviction. Janarlo Wilson, 17-year-old African American male, convicted and sentenced to 10 years for having consensual sex with a 15-year-old. Wilson is now 21, still in prison and waiting for the Georgia Supreme Court to make a decision in his case. Cases such as these are unfortunate, but I personally do not know of any case in which a non-minority child was sentenced to a long prison term for engaging in consensual sex with a peer. African American families live with grim realities facing their children. At the present rates, 1/3 of African American males born today will end up in prison. African American males are incarcerated at nearly 6 times the rate of whites, and there are racial disparities at every stage of the criminal justice system, especially the juvenile justice system, creating what the Children's Defense Fund calls the cradle-to-prison pipeline for African American males. We have to ask the Department of Justice what can be done from a federal perspective to address local practices which perpetuate the cradle-to-prison pipeline, and ask why programs which have been proven to reduce crime and are cost-effective are not put into practice. We need to be assured that the Department of Justice is working to close the disparities between African Americans and whites in our criminal justice system, and we also need comments from the Department on several pending anti-gang bills and the effect these bills may have on the racial disparity. It is important for the Department to prove to future generations that the term justice for all is not simple rhetoric. I'd like to thank our witnesses for being with us today and look forward to their testimony. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Thank you.